Prologue. Mystery at Windsor. A misty butterscotch haze welcomes a crisp spring day over the Somerset countryside. "What is all the commotion?" shouts Tulip Windsor above the noise of dogs barking as she walks into the kennel enclosure carrying 4 bowls of dog food on a tray. 3 barking Scottish terriers jump up at their gates. The 4th gate is open. Tulip sees the last kennel empty and gasps. She drops the tray, sending the metal bowls clattering to the floor. Clasping her hand to her mouth, she hurries over to investigate. Tulip sees something on the floor, picks up an open collar and stares at it. How did this fall off his neck, I wonder? Panicking, but hoping that her Cruft's Grand Champion Scottish Terrier has just wandered off, she puts the collar in her jacket pocket, walks to the perimeter fence and calls out, "Fosroy! Fosroy Regent!" She looks across the meadow surrounding the enclosure and over at the nearby woods and shouts again, "Fosroy Regent!" Tulip leans against the wire mesh and rests her forehead against the cold metal in the hope of seeing the terrier scamper towards her, but there is no sign of him. "Oh, this is terrible," she says and clings to the fence. Tulip ponders for a moment before Jenny, the young kennel caretaker, walks in. "Good morning, Tulip. It looks like it'll be a nice sunny day," she says and chuckles. "But it's bound to rain." Tulip lets go of the fence and turns to face her. Jenny's cheery smile disappears when she sees the worried expression on her boss's tear-stained face. "What's the matter?" she asks. The Scottish terriers settle and stand at their gates, gazing up at her. Jenny then sees the food and water strewn over the concrete floor and the empty kennel. She frowns and asks, "What's happened, Tulip? Where is Fosroy Regent?" Tulip takes the collar from her pocket and shows Jenny, who gasps as Tulip explains. "I couldn't sleep, so took an early morning stroll around the grounds. I heard the dogs barking, so thinking they are hungry I brought them food and—" She bends her head forward, puts her hand over her eyes and sobs. "Oh, Jenny, I know that something terrible has happened to him." Jenny puts her arm around Tulip's shoulder. "Don't worry, Tulip. He's probably just wandered off. I'll clean the floor and go look for him." Although Jenny has only been working at the kennel since she left university a year ago, she knows that her boss overreacts. But she too feels a menace in the air and feels certain that Fosroy did not just wander off. Tulip reties the ribbon around her strawberry blonde ponytail while she considers what to do next and says, "Thank you, Jenny. Yes, please clean this mess up and feed the others. Then go look for Fosroy Regent while I go to the manor and call the police." Jenny nods and goes to fetch a broom. Tulip goes over to Montrose Pearl's kennel, opens the gate and walks inside. She sits on the cold concrete floor and strokes the Scottish terrier. She sweeps back Pearl's black fringe and gazes deep into the little terrier's sad brown eyes. Pearl nuzzles up against the upset woman and reaches up to lick her face. Jenny returns with a broom and dustpan. She rolls up her thick cotton shirt sleeves and sweeps the mess off the floor. Tulip gets up, disturbing Pearl. She strokes the terrier again and whispers, "Don't worry, Pearl. We will find him," and adds, "If only you could speak, old girl, this could be easily solved." She stands up. "I'll call the police, Jenny." "Okay, Tulip. I will replace their food and then go look for Fosroy. I imagine the police will want to investigate in here." She looks at Tulip and reassures her. "Don't worry, Tulip. The police will soon find him. He has a microchip tracker, so it won't be difficult." Tulip nods, forces a smile and says, "Yes, you are right, but will they find him alive? There is no other reason apart from jealousy to take Fosroy Regent." She frowns and, looking enraged, says, "And we know who has that reason." Tulip takes a deep breath and walks outside, carrying Fosroy's collar. Jenny watches the middle-aged lady of the manor walk out of the enclosure and says, "Right, you lot. I will bring your breakfast and then we will find Fosroy." She smiles, knowing that the dogs don't have a clue what she is saying, but like most people, talks to dogs. Jenny removes her baseball cap, ruffles her short auburn hair, replaces the cap, stacks the empty bowls, and walks outside to a nearby outbuilding. Tulip walks up the path to the manor and reassures herself that everything will be fine and that they will find Fosroy unharmed. She arrives at the entryway, wipes her Wellington boots on the coir doormat, removes them and goes into the manor. She hangs up her Harris tweed jacket, picks up the phone in the hallway and dials 999. Jenny leaves the enclosure, so the Scottish terriers talk amongst themselves. "What do ye think happened, Pearl? I didn't see or hear anything," says Hamish. "I've nae idea," Pearl replies, and tells them, "When I woke up and couldn't see Fosroy or smell his scent, I fretted, so woke ye in Hatfield." "How do we sleep so soundly? Fosroy would have alerted us if something was wrong," says Hadfield from the furthermost kennel. "Aye, it's suspicious. How did someone come into the kennels and take Fosroy without us hearing his cries for help? And why remove his collar?" asks Hamish. "Fair puzzling." "Unless someone drugged us," states Pearl. "That is the only logical explanation, but I can't figure out how or why they left his collar. Unless whoever did this didn't realise Fosroy has a microchip under his skin." "I agree, and Andrews has something to do with this," says Hadfield. Hamish snarls. "Aye, it must be Andrews. We all know what he's like, and he will nae want Fosroy found alive. He will nae care if he has a microchip. The people police better find him soon, otherwise they'll only be tracking his corpse." The dogs go silent as they wonder what could have happened to Fosroy. With each kennel separated by wire mesh, Hamish and Hadfield see Pearl go lie on her bed, then hear her whimper. Hamish realises that his outburst sounded uncaring, so he and Hadfield sit and look at one another, listening to Pearl's mournful whines. After several minutes, Pearl stops whimpering, stands up and walks up to her wire mesh fence. "Ratchet and Stench!" she exclaims, which startles Hamish and Hadfield. "Pardon?" asks Hadfield. Pearl, now sounding excited, tells them, "We need Ratchet and Stench. They will find out what's happened to Fosroy." Hamish and Hadfield look at Pearl, smiling. "Aye, it's worth a try," says Hamish. Hamish, although trying to console Pearl, knows that there is slim hope of finding Fosroy alive. But a slim hope is better than no hope, and if anyone can solve this mystery, it is the famous animal sleuths. "I'll call the crows," announces Pearl. Chapter 1. The animal sleuths are on the case. Stench nibbles on a small piece of his poop. He swirls it around his mouth like a wine connoisseur before spitting it into his forepaw. He takes the small piece of excrement over to one of the several wood boards covered in small samples and sticks the small dollop on the one marked poop board and writes Indian curry alongside it. "How's the poop board coming along?" asks Ratchet, looking over the newspaper. "It's coming along nicely," replies Stench. "It came in useful with our last case, when we solved the missing sewer mayor's ringpull of office mystery." "It did," chuckles Ratchet. "Not only did we help the mayor, but we made the headlines in the local rag. Another case solved by the super sleuths," he jokes. Stench goes over to a wall and taps on the photo of them receiving a commendation from the sewer mayor. "Yes, a proud moment," thinks Stench, as he gazes at the photograph of two smiling rats and a badger, with the sewer mayor wearing the ringpull of office around his neck. Stench with his combed-back blonde quiff, and Ratchet, the panda-looking badger. Ratchet and Stench recover the ringpull of office from a coir mat outside the farmhouse door at Burke's dairy farm. They discover Jack Daw took the shiny item, which he drops while flying over the dairy farm. The ringpull lands in a pile of cow dung before getting stuck in the soles of the farmer Burke's wellies. Stench traces the ringpull from the metallic can smell covered in various animal feces on his poop board, and the sleuths return it to the relieved sewer mayor. Ratchet goes back to reading his newspaper, while Stench looks again at the photo. He then looks at another photo of his dad, Shumlock. "Odds bodkins, Dad would have been proud," he thinks. He smiles as fond memories of his deceased father come flooding back. His father was his tutor and mentor, teaching him from when he was a pup on how to be a successful sleuth. Stench resembles his father, with his brown fur and blonde-coloured quiff on his high brow, which, unless he combs back, drapes over his eyes. Stench is an articulate creature who chooses his words carefully, making him sound like an English professor. He enjoys coming up with new and innovative techniques in animal forensics, and his ambition is to be a legendary animal sleuth like his father. Shumlock died several seasons ago while investigating a new, deadly, and according to people, undetectable rat trap. Unfortunately for Shumlock, the claims were true.